Here is Jack Newell, the new candidate for the President of the Law Society. Please, could you tell us a few things about yourself?
First off, I'm a second year student at the University of Essex. I'm currently enrolled in the LLB course, and I'm hoping to try and make the biggest impact that I can at the University of Essex in not just the way that the laws run or the law societies run, but the way in which we're perceived by people that are outside the society. If you guys want a little bit more information about me personally, then here's a few little facts about me. First off, I'm a very keen sportsman. I always have been. I've played football from about the age of 3 or 4, and I've literally just loved the sport so much. From a very young age, I was also captaining teams as well, so I've always had a bit of responsibility on my shoulders, and I've always had to set an example when leading a group of people. I think that over time, though, that with that, I've matured a little bit. I can work under pressure, and I can work to deadlines pretty well as working in a team and making sure everyone does their job. And I think that chemistry and that mixture would be the set of ideal qualities that would be needed for a president. And this isn't just me saying, oh, I can do it. This is proof that I will do it and I know how to do it. I'm also a music enthusiast. Recently my band got back together, Divide by Zero, and I'm going to be playing lead guitar in the band and maybe doing a bit of keyboard work. So again, that will help me with my teamwork abilities and my creativity in some ways, so I can try and think up of different ways in which the Law Society can improve ourselves, not just in terms of how we do things, but how people look at us, and just to pretty much improve the general image of the Law Society.
Well, what are your plans for the future of the Law Society?
I've put my manifesto out on Facebook, and there are quite a few plans that I do have for the Law Society. Obviously I'm not going to go into all of them now because I need to save some of them for the speeches and some of them for later on. But one of my biggest ideas is the fact that there's a few societies that do the same thing, but they work independently. They don't work together as one unit. And I think the ELSA, the European Law Society, and the Law Society, the Bar Society, and the French Connection all need to get together and focus on what's important. And what's important is the students, the people that are involved in the society. They need to be able to get the best that they can from the societies. It's not about who's better, it's what can we achieve as a group. So I think that would be my top one. Another point I've raised is that I try and make sure that street law, mooting, client negotiation, and as well as the peer mentoring, like them 4 things are very, very, very important to the society. I think that we need a bit more structure to them. I know some of them have slipped a little bit as of late, but I think that the guys have done a good job so far, but I think we need to just step it up a little bit more to take the Law Society to a higher level. I did do mooting, I think it was, last year with a friend of mine, and we got well and truly hammered, but it was an experience, and I think that experience has made us both grow as individuals, and I think that by using these events, like, a student really can grow as a person. I'd also like to probably organise some more trips in terms of going to a court. I know the Law Society are a little bit quiet on that front, but other societies have been pretty vocal and they've led by example. I mean, the Bar Society, for example, have planned to go to Strasbourg. I know there are talks about going to Barbados next year, and the Law Society, well, we really haven't done much of that. We need to probably go to a court and get a feel for it, and just to get an experience of the environment that we would be working in if we want to be lawyers. The final point I'll raise here is that I do acknowledge that there are students that don't want to be solicitors and barristers, and because of that there needs to be a bit of a variation. So I acknowledge, obviously, we've got law fairs for people who want to go into being a barrister or a solicitor, but I think maybe in addition to that we might need just 1 or 2 nights a year where people who may want to go into banking, accounting or something like that will have an opportunity to speak to other employers that have a law degree but have gone into a different way of life sort of thing. So you can show that there are transferable skills with law. So if you have a law degree, you don't have to be a solicitor, you don't have to be a barrister. You've learned so much from this in terms of skill, you can apply it elsewhere.
Well, what do you think is fundamental to change inside the society?
Fundamental changes? I think that with the whole new society, well, not the new society, the new committee coming in, things are going to change anyway. So I think that first off, we need to gel as a group. Obviously, we need to know how each other work, and as president, I need to oversee that everyone's doing their job, sort of thing. I wouldn't say that there are a few things specifically that are weak or are wrong that aren't working, but there are things that I would like to change, such as the way in which some of the groups are divided. Because people look at the Law Society and they join it just because they do law, but it's much more than that. It's not just a society, it's a group of people that all think in the same way and have an underlying common interest, which is law. And from that, you learn so much about different people. From the Law Society alone, from university alone, I've met probably one of my best friends of my life. And law was just the smallest thing that we had in common. We talk about football, we go out and play football together, we go out on nights out. So I think what needs to be improved is maybe a little bit of the communication aspect between the members and the committee, and I think that if that link is put together, then the Law Society will run smoothly, and I think we'll be becoming a bit more of a tighter unit.
Alright. You mentioned previously the collaboration with other societies such as Bar Society, French Connection, and its organization. What are your visions in order to make the work with those societies more efficient?
So, as I said, and as you've said quite rightly, that I do want other societies to work with us. I've spoken to the president and vice president of the Bar Society, and I think it's just a mutual agreement that we've got that if I am elected, the Law Society and Bar Society will work together. There's no matter of if we work together, it's we will work together. And I think that that's important in a way because people from the Bar Society aren't in the Law Society and vice versa. So you need to link them people together, and then you've got contacts for the future. The way in which that can be achieved, though, is pretty standard. A couple of social nights a year, maybe organising trips together to different courts, and you get talking on the way there, on the way back, or during a lunch break or something. So it is literally the smallest thing that can set a friendship off. And then next thing you know, you're going out for coffee, you're going out for dinner, or you're moving in together and you're best friends sort of thing.
Well, what kind of image do you have for Essex law students?
When people think of law students, they have this idea that they're very articulate, they're very intelligent, they're on the ball. And I think that that's pretty much the very least you could expect from students in terms of a law student. I know Oxford and Cambridge, when you think of them, you think that they are the cream of the crop, they are the best students. And I know Essex isn't anywhere near that at the moment, but I think that if we set ourselves a standard where we conduct ourselves in a very strong way, a very professional way, we're confident, we're on the ball, we do our legal research, we know the law, and not just knowing the law, but we know how to apply it, I think that we'd be able to probably step up a gear or so. And I think that the image of the Law Society would change just based on them few factors.
Thank you for the interview. We wish you the best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much for seeing me.